West Asia region is experiencing upheavals, and a lot of that, if not all, has to deal with the U.S. and Israeli plots, like in the case of Syria. Iran's leader weighed in on the matter, and in one of the most anticipated speeches, he said that the Syrian government collapse was joint U.S. Zionist plot, one in which a neighboring country played a role. However, he said the resistance will become stronger. Iran's leader also said that Iran has not been weakened as a result of incidents impacting the resistance front. The dramatic turn of events in Syria came as a surprise to many after a number of militant groups took control of Damascus, forcing President Bashar al-Assad to leave the country. The regime change plot in Syria had been in the works for years, with the involvement of various international and regional actors sharing one goal: the overthrow of the Assad government. The decision to oust Assad was made even before 2011, all the way back to 2005, when the former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafiq Hariri was assassinated. The West wanted to use that opportunity to remove the Hezbollah resistance group from Lebanon. They offered Assad control of Lebanon in exchange for disarming Hezbollah. Assad rejected their offer, or bribe, as some called it. For over 2 decades, Western and Israeli regime plots against Lebanon and Syria have been thwarted mainly due to Hezbollah in Syria, like the defeat of Daesh Takfiri groups. Now there's a combination of terrorist groups that you see here and armed opposition groups in Syria, although the resistance front has suffered a setback recently. The bigger evil has already been defeated, and the resistance has successfully foiled many plots against the region. The U.S. has been responsible for breaking the economic back of Syria. It weaponized sanctions against Syria. In 2011, before the Western-backed insurgency broke out, Syria had a great economy. The foreign reserves, about $20 to $22 billion. You have 300,000 at that point active personnel in its armed forces, but its thriving economy was wrecked by crippling and cruel sanctions back in 2019, especially when it implemented the Caesar Act, forcing many Syrians to switch sides to sustain their families. Will the resistance setbacks affect the resistance axis? Well, throughout the years, the resistance has not depended on anyone. Even before Syria became the logistic route for the resistance, Hezbollah and other movements had established themselves as forces to actually be reckoned with. This will continue in the future as well. The latest war between Hezbollah and Israel proves this. Despite the regime bombing all routes between Syria and Lebanon, the Lebanese resistance maintained the upper hand, forcing the embattled Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to seek a ceasefire deal with Lebanon after Hezbollah's historic Black Sunday operation in the heart of Tel Aviv. The Israeli regime's rapid advancement into Syria is a strive for a greater Israel. The countries that back these terrorist and armed opposition forces to overthrow the Assad government should now ponder how they will resist Tel Aviv's expansionist agenda when the regime forces knock on their doors. Time will prove that those who cheered for the fall of the Syrian government were the real losers.